You're listening to the blondishnet podcast. I'm Niall Flores, and I'm your hostess. I cover topics like WordPress, blogging, social media, search engine optimization, and web design. I hope with this podcast that you'll be able to rock out your website like a rock star. So let's get it on. Thank you for tuning in to another blondishnet podcast episode. My name is Niall Flores, and I run blondish.net. That's blondish.net. And you can follow me on Twitter with the Twitter handle blondishnet. There is no dot in between the H and the N. So this podcast episode is particularly on building better roundups and lists. So I've done a lot of talking about building better lists and also describing what roundups are. I've even done roundups in the past. And I'm one of these people that get kind of like snobbish when I see a list. And sometimes it's really lacking. But then there's some really great lists out there. So I want to hopefully in this short podcast kind of go over how to make your list of roundups better. So basically lists or roundups are actually lists. You round up a group of items over something like, best female bloggers of 2015 or best desserts for a picnic or something, like that groups of things together. And that's might be interesting for whoever your audience might be. So the big problem is that I see with the list is that some people just plop a bunch of, either they'll plop links together or they'll plop just names and everything like for people lists. That's just not very sufficient, especially when blogging and content creating, Google really likes that long form. If you actually watch some of the videos out there that are like, 5 best anime series for romance or something like that, they aren't like 2 minutes, like, this and this and this. It comes with people talking on it and has text on it and has voice on it. And maybe sometimes even a little bit of music. Music's not necessary. It's just, a plus, but they're not small, and they really get into description. And that's really how, when you're doing a roundup or list in text format, that's how it should be done. Here are some things, here's some recommendations. So first is on the content of your roundups and lists. You want to link to examples. So you're like 9 ways to getting more blog post shares. Sometimes you want to link to examples of what that point is talking about. Maybe another article of yours, maybe somebody else's article. Include a picture if you have to, like say it's a recipe roundup, maybe an image of what that recipe actually looks like. Or even better, sometimes if there's videos of recipes or something like that. Like one of the things I like to do is do roundups for as a creating content that gets bought and everything. One of the most popular things that get bought up are like nail fashion, like design and everything else. And there are a lot of video tutorials. So they really like those video roundups, like 9 delicious looking nail designs for summer or something like that. So maybe they have cherries or something like that. So it looks kind of cool. And very interesting for that niche, the fashion, or sometimes mommy bloggers like it, like, for moms who like to try to pamper themselves, and health and beauty, that kind of stuff. But video is really good to include, not just the link. Try to put the embed in there. The interesting thing about putting the embed, if you're clever about it, think about it. If that video is 5 minutes long, that means that person stayed on your site for 5 minutes. So when they get done with that video and go to the next and say that's 5 minutes or 10 minutes, they've just spent 15 minutes on your site. And that goes, for your session, how long they've been online. So that's actually pretty cool, trying to keep them on your site longer. You also want to describe each, instance, each, list item, because you don't want to just leave the description there. Make a little summary with each. Some people really don't know what the hell you're talking about. And, there will be people don't underestimate or overestimate people when it comes to whatever you list, because there are going to be some people out there that probably, according to you, probably live under a rock. And you know what? You just got to give them a leg up. If you're doing a roundup or list of people, like top 50 people in WordPress for 2016 or something like that, you want to put a picture of the person. You want to put their website, be really cool about it. Really give them a leg up. Giving them a link out to their website is a really good leg up. You could also include a social handle or two, like maybe Twitter or Facebook. If they have a professional handle, be careful on the professional handles and everything. So, and get their fan page instead of their personal profile. Because some of them might not want to be get all influx of friend requests to their personal profile. So send them to their company Facebook handle. So another thing for building better lists, I like to kind of go over all the other parts of it, like title. You want to keep it interesting and concise, and make sure that it's a topic that counts, that people really will want to visit. You always have to write about things and ask yourself, why would this matter to my audience? If you can't answer that, then you probably shouldn't be putting it on your website. You want to make it really interesting. You want to make those words like awesome or top or outstanding or the ultimate guide, or topics like that real kind of stand out, or the most interesting, blah blah blah. So there's just a lot of things that you can do. In list size, try not to put too many things in. If sometimes that many people, you don't have to put 100 people or 200 people or umpteen million people or things in the list. Sometimes just people don't have enough attention for that many people. It's kind of like Google. They'll go through page 1. They might go through page 2. It's a smaller possibility of page 3. So you kind of get it. So as you go down the page, your readership drops, and it's very true. It's been in studies all over the place of as people go down your website. That's why there are some places that give you an estimate on how much time an article might take to read. So, honestly, some people don't have 10 minutes in a day to go over some article with 100 items in some list. It's just too much. So just use your common sense. On roundups, this is, especially for people, it's probably not a wise thing to tell people I did all this research about these people and I looked up on Alexa and they're this rank and everything else. Well, unfortunately, I'm going to tell you this. Alexa is unreliable as a stat because not everybody is using the Alexa toolbar. So there are actually some people out there, they're actually getting mad traffic, and Alexa can't keep up with them because they don't have enough users. Maybe they don't have enough users that actually visit them, but there's millions of other people visiting, or thousands, or whatever it might be, and they're getting really great traffic. The better thing to do is to make a list of people that are far more influential to you. People are more concerned about those about what you think, because they're on your blog. Like, who would you recommend? Not what some robot out there said that we can't even rely on. You'll find in creating a list like that is more set on your personal preference will cause you less grief, because and ones that are saying they're more influential to you, they don't get those people that say, well, you should put so and so on your list. So you'll get more people like, well, hey, I know somebody, and you didn't mention them, but you might want to go check them out sometime. It's less griefing. There are always going to be some people doing that. They're going to either be somebody who really is a diehard fan, or you're going to have somebody sock puppeting, like, acting like somebody else. And it happens. I know how it works. I did anime fandom, so it seems like, people wouldn't do that, but they do. I've seen it. So just be wise about how you're presenting your list, especially about people. And if you're going to rely on stats, use stats that are reliable, or say, if you're going to have to rely on stats, say it's Alexa, based on Alexa rank. Don't say like all the people, okay? Like this is how it is, because it's just standing on a soapbox. And believe me, I've gone to so many lists, and there's so many people that are much bigger on those lists that say, oh, I researched and everything else. It's a lot to tackle when you're basing it on statistics. And sometimes it's not always accurate, because you're not really including all the people that probably should be on that list. I try to be mean and everything, but it's whenever I do a blogging list, this is just one of the things that I keep seeing as a mistake. And maybe you don't think it's a mistake, but I believe it's a mistake, because I think your readers will care more if your list is about who you think are influential to you. And they will go and actually visit those people if you believe they should be doing that. Because to you, you're their influencer. So they want to see who influenced you. So let me step off my soapbox. And I think that's a good enough spiel about building better roundups and lists, and a tiny little rant in between. I really appreciate you listening in. Again, my name is Niall Flores, and I hope to see you on the next blondishnet podcast episode. Please let me know in the comments below your thoughts, and feel free to ask any questions, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for tuning in to this blondishnet podcast episode. And once again, my name is Niall Flores. You can either like, comment, or even ask questions wherever this podcast is posted at. I'd be happy to answer them. If you're looking for WordPress design and development services, I actually specialize in designing and developing WordPress websites that convert, which means I can deliver a website that you can use in order to gain subscribers, social sharers, comments, and even buyers. So, in other words, I make sure you get a return on investment. So please seek me out at blondish.net. That's blondish.net. Again, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next blondish.net podcast episode.